return. We're going to talk World Cup of Hockey. Canada, of course, no surprise that they would win. The favorites did do what they needed to do, sweeping Team Europe in that two-game series. What was surprising was not just Team Europe, but people were pleasantly enjoying the games themselves. It wasn't, they, I guess, wouldn't know, considering you've had a big, long stretch from the last World Cup of Hockey in 2004. You fast forward 12 years later, you look at the crew that was on there. It wasn't bad hockey. I don't know, how would you describe it? Was it good, bad? What do you take away from it?
I enjoyed the hockey. For the most part, I thought the games were, phenomenal skill level and speed, and of course Team Canada. I mean, it just tells you the kind of depth we have in Canadian hockey at the professional level. And I liked it. I watched a lot of the games. I mean, there was some other games obviously weren't quite as good, but I think the level of hockey was right there. And as I mentioned before, as soon as you go from that World Cup tournament and then you switch on an exhibition game, it's not even close to the same hockey. So it tells me it was pretty good hockey.
There were some gimmicks there. We just mentioned Europe, we mentioned North America, but overall it seemed like everybody did enjoy it and it was a success.
Well, because a lot of people talk about North America, and originally they were written off as a no-show team, and now all of a sudden they were a legit contender, and then Europe was kind of written off as well as just a mashup, and then look what we get. So I don't know if they bring those gimmicks back. It worked for what it worked for. And it'll probably, North America would work again in 4 years because you'd still have McDavid, Eichel, Matthews all together. Europe, I don't know. I keep them because I don't know if you start individual countries if it's going to work well. But for that, the hockey was actually, considering it's September and then you expect, bad hockey. It was actually decent hockey to watch.
Yeah,
The crowds? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the grouping, just like that, picking Team Europe and those 8 countries that made up those players and stuff. I mean, you really can't. What else can you do with those? I think there was teams. I think the Czechs were disappointing.
United States were a big disappointment.
And the States were a big disappointment. So I think at the end of the day, they have their own things that they need to fix. But yeah, Team North America, exciting as heck. And I was so much hoping for them to get into that semifinal because it would have been for really something to see those kids play against maybe Team Canada in a semifinal. Would have been something.
The crowd certainly enjoy it, but I don't know if they were as rowdy as the ones during the Ryder Cup. And that took a lot of people by surprise, especially if you're Team Europe. You've dominated the Ryder Cup for nearly a decade. And it seemed that the fans really rattled a lot of those golfers. Rory McIlroy was one of them, as a prime example, Sergio Garcia and others. That may have definitely helped out Team USA, without a doubt. But with that said, you look at the craziness of the fans. Do you believe that that's appropriate for the sport of golf? And did you enjoy it at all from what you guys saw?
I love it. I wish that was normal for golf. You wish, because look how passionate the Ryder Cup is. And you get to see it every year. It's the same. This isn't like a one-off. This happens every single time they play the Ryder Cup. It's this much passion. Fans are involved. Players are involved. Everyone's celebrating, fist pumping. That's what I want to watch. I don't want to watch that nice little and a guy's 200 yards away giving a little tap. No, I want to see emotion out of these players. We're so used to it out of other sports. Why not golfers?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that probably maybe the change to what you're saying is, the excitement and all that, I think that's great for them to maybe be under a little bit of pressure, but that's still why they're throwing people out of those events as well. They're escorting people out there to go a little over the edge. No different in a hockey arena or in a football stadium. There's certain things you can say, cheer on your team, those kind of things. But I think once you kind of cross the line. But on the other hand, Team Europe, I think he maybe fed the fire there a little bit from a comment that he made before. Mm-hmm. And maybe the U.S. fans come now with a little bit of, we'll get back at this guy for doing what he did in a report. So yeah, it made it a little bit interesting, that's for sure.
Oh, one thing I took out of it was, yes, there were some remarks, but it almost was reminiscent of Caddyshack, or even Happy Gilmore.
Oh, glorious.
Just the taunt. For me, I found it funny, but in this sport, I don't know if I guess maybe Ryder Cup is a Ryder Cup, but I don't know if I want to see it in any other event, to be honest with you.
I do.
In golf.
I want to see the emotion.
You want to see that in the Masters?
Yeah.
Do you want to see people with eagle heads on top of them and just
why not
going off?
That's good television. That's what that is. I would rather watch players and fans have emotion at a game rather than just being the calm, nothing happening. It's just, that to me lifts it up to a new level of want to watch golf. I don't watch golf because it's so boring to watch on TV. I'll watch the Ryder Cup because you just know something, and it does help with the team aspect. Like me doing it by myself and going and fist pumping to the guy on the 18th green, okay, might be a little egotistical, but now when you're doing it with your entire team, ups it a little bit. But I think they should do it all the time.
I think what was the scariest thing we took out of that was the dance moves that Phil Mickelson had during that time. Should not do that anymore. All right, how about this guy, Tim Tebow? First at bat in an instructional league, hits a home run. Sure, he went 0 for 5 the rest of the time, but he hit a home run on his first ever pitch. I like this. I'm on his bandwagon. I hope he makes the pros. What do you guys say?
Well, they put on a little T, right? You know, instructional. Like that's what.
T-ball.
We
That's
actually
what it
have a
was.
video. I'm watching. Did he Tebow on the home plate?
No,
That's
he did
what I
not do
want.
any. He did not do any of that.
Like,
he
what
did,
is
he did
that?
get mobbed by his.
Come
He got
on.
mobbed by his teammates though. They loved him.
Watch, like terrible. Come on, Tebow. Like you should have Tebowed on home plate.
So that's what you take out of it. Don't you think that? Wouldn't you jump on his bandwagon and say, you know what? I'd love to see him in the majors. How awesome would that be?
No.
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 No
Edmonds,
love
no.
for him.
I'm still watching this brutal hit. Like this is absolutely. Like this looks like he hit it in a. Oh,
All I can say is, I mean, I know the guy's he's a super athlete, come out of college, Heisman Trophy winner. He's done some amazing things, but he's had some pretty big failures too. I mean, you come in, you're a savior. You're almost like you're this flash in the pan for Denver that year. He can't maintain that. I don't know what all he's got going on off the field or whatever's happening with him and this celebrity status he has. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to play Major League Baseball and be any kind of an impactful long-term player. It might be a bit of a media thing to get him involved, get him out there, play with the Mets. But at the end of the day, no, he's 29, and he's not going to be a long-term player. I don't believe, but he is a great athlete. I just think he's had some setbacks as well.
I'm just waiting for him to be like, make it with the Mets organization, and all of a sudden just become this pinch hitter that just
Like I
constantly
said, come from the outfield, rocking the music, just savior coming out.
Yeah, the smoke.
Mets jersey sales are going to go through the roof.
Hey, marketing ways, they can't go wrong with that.
That's all they bought him for.
Well, that could be very true. We'll see what happens. If he hits more home runs there, he might be moving up to single A, double A, and who knows from there.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take another commercial break. We have Over Under coming up next.